All right, it says we're live. It's 3:46 p.m. And according to Tim, the Fed just met 46 minutes ago. Tim, what is the news out of the Fed?
Well,
Coming live to you from Waldorf, Maryland, Mr. Tim Murphy. To you, Tim.
it's funny that they did raise it 0.75. That was better than one. Okay, some of us thought maybe even one was going to happen,
What
Brian.
did
But
Wells Fargo say? You remember that?
no, what did Wells Fargo
Wells
say?
Fargo said go 1.5.
Did they really
Yeah, they said it's not enough. Let's go.
just close the door altogether? Right? What the heck?
Just let's go. You know what I mean?
I think they're trying to approach and address some inflationary concerns. My concern is I think they're being too narrow-minded. Truthfully,
Narrow-minded. So
yeah,
let's.
they're
What would be
focused
your advice
just
to the
on.
Fed if you were on the board, Tim? What would be
Oh,
your advice?
now you're killing me, brother. I would be telling them to make a special product for Brian and Tim. Let's have a special 30-year fixed rate. Well, let's face it, we're very concerned about being forced into some kind of a recession, right? I mean, isn't that what it comes down to? And we don't want
Yeah,
to collapse. We do want it to slow down, but it's like you're racing down the highway and you put down the brakes. You don't slam the things down. And right now, what are they doing? They're like, and I'm like, oh shit, dude, come on, man, seriously, what the hell? So,
yeah.
so
It's like one of those sand ramps when you're coming down the mountain, and it
yeah,
says exit here if your brakes fail, and then you just slam up into the sand ramp or the gravel. And
yeah.
and and so last month, we're talking August, it was down 40% in certain areas, and that was before. They have gone up since then, and now we just raised the rates again.
And it's slowing things down. Let's face it. But here's my concern, Brian. I'm going to be honest with you, straight up
Slowing
front.
things down or screeching halt.
It's almost coming to a screeching halt because what it's doing is it's making it difficult for the folks that were challenged ahead of time to be able to afford a home. And now, that worst call is calling somebody back saying, "Hey, listen, I know you qualified at six, rate 6.5. You don't qualify for that house anymore. What am I supposed to tell you? You know what I mean?" And
Yeah.
so it's going to put a screeching halt on the economy. It's going to have repercussions all the way
Say
through.
say say this, Tim. Say, hey, did you catch that video Brian and I did a couple weeks ago? We are talking about rates going up. You must have missed it. Yeah, I told you to buy a house.
You know what? That is true, Brian. And what's going to happen next time? What are they going to do again?
I told you. I told you. I
Back one
told
up
you.
again. Yeah, I know, I know. Now, remember, I love what you always say, Brian. You say, look, you buy a house based on your needs. What do
I
you
thought
need,
you said
right?
you marry the rate and you love the house
No, no, you marry
and
the
you
house.
sleep with the taxes.
Oh shit.
No,
You
I
marry the
got that wrong.
Yeah, you marry the house, you date the
You
rate.
marry the. What do you do with the taxes?
We expect to see, well, the taxes
You
is
just pay the taxes.
yeah, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But let's face it. So what's happening? Yeah, the Fed's raised the rates. They're trying to slow things down. They're trying to keep the economy from overheated. But here's my point. You ready? I don't think we're overheated at all. I think the economy's already in a recession, and I'm seeing it from the real estate side. It is insane. It has slowed down dramatically, and people they're getting a little scared. They're getting
The
a little
only
worried about
thing
what's
that's
going on.
not in a recession is fast food workers and like low level jobs and mid level jobs too.
Well,
Because didn't you hear
cuts right
something the
now.
other day about they're having some problem with the trains now? Like they had all these problems with the workers at the docks, and then the airline workers, and then now we're talking about the train workers. Something about the train workers are all going on
Well, they
leaves of
averted the strike.
absences or whatever it is.
Yeah, they averted the strike that was anticipated, and the whole idea was is that we were going to slow things down. But here's the catch, Brian. I mean, we don't want to stop commerce that is occurring, and that's the catch 22 right there. We've got to have a certain amount of production still going on, despite the world economy having some challenges as a whole. Now, here's the catch: we can raise the rates. The U.S. can, right? The rest of the world can't.
Why?
Well, they're all currently at zero or negative numbers. And their biggest concern is that they start raising rates, it's going to put a farther hit or dive in their economy. So now here's what's happening. All the money is coming out of the world and going into the dollar, creating a stronger dollar makes our exports more expensive, number one. At the same time, we're charging a higher interest rate. We're paying higher amounts out. So, the U.S. will be strong. That's a good sign. But the rest of the world's going to take it in the pants.
All right. So last week I got on the phone. I took all my past clients and I put them into a phone. I only got halfway through. So if you're watching this, I didn't call you. I'll probably try to call you this week. My daughter's birthday's today, so I've been taking it light. I called everybody and tell me if this was right or good or bad news or good advice or not.
Okay.
Here's what I said. If you have an investment property, sell it. If you have a rental property, sell it. If you have a rental property, you just have a new lease in, pay them to get out of the lease. Give them $5,000, get their car detailed, buy them some new shoes, and agree to help pay off some of their student loan to get them out of your house so you can sell it.
Really? I on the other hand think that investment.
All right, so here's why. I think that if you are sitting on this rental and you were like, well, I think I might sell it next year. All right.
Right.
Nope. Year after that. Nope. Year after that. I'm talking 3, 4, and I'm talking beyond what we can see realistically. It is not going to be a better time to sell your house, and quite possibly, it's going to negatively affect the price of your house, and you're going to lose 5, 10, 15, 20-ish, blah, blah, blah percent.
See, now that's where you and I disagree. I think, honestly, we're going to get a flattening. We're not going to have this sudden implosion.
We've already had house prices have already gone down, Tim, and we're on the beginning. We have not come over the top of this mountain yet. We are still I think I can. Like we think we can get rates higher. We're talking like we're not over the edge of this yet.
Now, I do agree that we're not going to see the massive escalation, and I think we're going to see a flattening of price. I don't think we're going to see a downward trend, Brian. Downward trend is because there is a severe overabundance of inventory. There is not.
Here I can tell you, Tim. So one of the things that I do is I talk to sellers all day long. I call sellers. I probably talked to 30 people in the past 2 days, and I'm telling you, a number of people have all said the same thing. Well, I got a 2.7. I want to go to 10. Literally within the past hour, I talked to a guy in Huntingtown.
Right. Okay.
I got a 2.7. I really want to go to Houston. I said, well, let me ask you a quick question. You plan on paying for it cash? Or you want to finance it? He's like, well, I'm going to finance it. I got some equity in this house. Zillow said it's worth $1 million. I was like, well,
not so much. Yeah.
Not sure about that. But here's the thing. You're 2.7, you sell it, and let's say you got $200,000 in cash, and you're like, boom, got the money, let's go. You go down to Texas, and you're trying to buy a $600,000 house, and you only can put down $350 because you need $50,000 to pay all that, stuff down there, and the closing cost is still very competitive. You're going to overpay for the house. Now you're sitting on a $450,000 mortgage. Right. Your payment is going to be like a punch in the face.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to disagree with you. Okay, so first of all, if you've got a 2.75 rate and you're a rental property, we're talking about
no. I'm talking about everybody who owns their home, because I talk to homeowners.
Yeah, I still don't agree. Here's the thing, ready? We are probably one of the highest parts, but more importantly, Brian, houses went up 60% in 2 years.
Well, so is the house they got to buy, Tim. That's my point. So you got to go buy one. So the people that are retiring that own their house in cash, they're going to be the ones that are like, oh, this is awesome, right? Still sell it because it's worth more today than it is tomorrow, in my opinion. But if you're going to finance more than 50% of wherever you're going, I just talked to another guy today. He's going to where's it down there? Like southwest Florida,
like the
not
Gulf?
Fort Lauderdale, but down there. He's going down there, and he's
St.
talking about maybe doing it next year.
Okay.
So I was like, what's the plan? He says, well, I'm going to make enough money selling my house. I'm going to pay cash. I said, all right, you're fine. Don't worry about it. But if you're going down there and you're going to be paying, financing a house, what makes you think that you're going to be able to pull this off? And I talked to another lady, and she was like, I've got this townhouse and I hate it. I just want another townhouse. And my husband, he's like, I don't want to do it because of the interest rate. And I was like, ma'am, I'm telling you, it's 6.5%. Before you get crazy, I talk a lot of people out of selling their house too. I tell like probably 50% of people, keep your house.
Right.
because it's like she only really wanted just a little bit more room. And I'm like, you know what you need to do? Go buy yourself a vacation house or something.
So I'm going to agree with you partially. And so what I'm going to tell you is this: if you need to get out of your primary residence, you are relocating. Selling your house makes sense right now. I totally agree with you on that. I'm not going to disagree. I think selling it, you're going to maximize equity, maximize value. Now is a good time. Now you're going to hate me to tell you this: would I buy right now? No, I wouldn't. I mean, truthfully, I mean, at this point in time, I think it's a great time to sell. I would only buy based on need, location.
So when you say what I buy right now, so let's say, for instance, you need to move to, you want to go to Texas. I literally talk to everybody who wants to go to Texas. You used to be Florida, Texas. I want to go to Texas.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Go down there and rent? What's your advice? Sell your house here. What do we do?
I would go down to rent and really get a good feel of the marketplace first, Brian. I mean, truthfully, I want to know where I want to be. Now you're talking about prices going down.
Let's assume that you know exactly where you want to be. So here's my question to you. Let's say, for instance, house prices go down a couple percent next year.
Okay.
What do you think that interest rates go up to 8.5%? That's a 15% increase in your payment.
Doesn't bother me any. You know why? Because I think in 24, 25, we're going to see a downward trend in rates. I think rates are going to come down.
And it's 2021.
24 is what I'm talking about.
I know it's 2000. You're talking 3 years from now.
No, dude, this is 22. You missed a year, man. We're at 22.
I'm looking at the date. It's 21st. It's been a long day, Tim. All right. So you said what? 24? They're going down.
18 to 24 months, we will see a downward trend. Okay. And so my philosophy.
Downward from what? 9.5.
Downward trend, probably from the 8s. I'm hopefully
from the 8s. Say it again, Tim. From the 8s.
Yeah.
Everybody listen. He said the 8s.
8s, as in that little 2-circle thing. It's a continual.
I don't even know what 8s is, Tim. I bought my first house in 2001,
and what was your rate?
And I was 22 years old, and I had a 7% interest rate. I called my parents like, nah. Look what the rate I got, and then I never looked back. I don't even know what that is. My adult life doesn't even know what 8% is.
And I bought my first house, and the rate was 18%.
So here's what everybody say. They all say this to me, and here's what I say to them: the cost of a house is now 8 times the median income, and it's because the rates were so low. People buy the payment. Remember, Tim? You said you sleep with your taxes, you marry the payment, and you cheat on your. What was it?
No. You're confusing something. No, you marry the house, you date the rate.
What about the payment? What do you do with the payment?
You manage it and make sure it's within your.
You pay the payment?
You pay the payment, brother.
Okay, you pay the payment, you date the house, and you marry the taxes.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So what? All right. So I think so. Let's go back to the rental property. I wouldn't sell my rental property. I keep it.
Well, hold on real quick. Just back up for a second. So we were talking about this
primary residence selling
this 8% thing, Tim. So here's the thing, man. Like the cost of a house is 8 times the median income. The median income is $50,000. The average cost of a house is $400,000. It's 8 times. So when you bought your first house, I bet you it was at least half of that. I bet you that house was $200,000 if you made 50 relatively. I know for a fact it wasn't 8 times because it's the highest it's ever been.
It was 5 times.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
That's $250,000 for a $400,000 house versus that's the difference.
Actually,
there you go. That's apples to apples.
I paid $90,000 and I made $18,000. I remember exactly to this day what it was, what I made.
And Tim gave plasma to buy that house. By the way, you talk about a man who's committed. That man right there.
I am committed to that. So, but my point is. But back to the story, would I sell my house today? Yeah, I think you can maximize your equity, maximize your value. Except
so you sell and rent.
So you sell now, and then you want to position yourself because I think there's going to be more opportunity shortly. I really do. I think there's going to be some great deals out there.
Okay, what if you don't have a ton of? What if you sold your house and you made $50,000? Do you still sell and rent, or do you sell and lock in the great 7.2% interest rates or whatever they are today and hedge against the 8.5%?
Actually, I'd sell. I take my $50,000. I'd buy some 10-year T-bills right now. There's inflation index T-bills paying 9.5%. It's not bad, right?
Yeah, that's something rich people do, Tim. I'm talking about the rest of us.
Okay. So what would I do? Honestly, I'd sell my house. I'd move into the area that I'm looking to move to. I'd probably rent for the next couple of months to get a handle on the marketplace. If you truly believe that values are going to drop 20%, so
Not necessarily 20,
okay,
but
5, 10,
it
15,
could be.
right? Why would you buy in at the high end before you to lose the equity in the low end?
Because the rates are still even at 7%. They're a deal compared to 8.5%.
They are, but I think rates will come back. I think the rates are going to go back down again. They're not going to stay in the high ends. They're going to come back in the low ends, and it's going to be
which
in
year?
2024, 25,
24,
because of the
25. Tim, we're
presidential
talking
election.
about, like, I don't even know where I'm going to be in life by then.
18 to 22. You
I
remember
only plan out the next 6 months, Tim. I can't be
September.
planning out 2025, man.
This is September of 22. We have 3 months left, dude. All right. You got a presidential election coming up in 24. Whenever presidential election happens in 24, what's going to happen is they're going to want to stimulate the rates in order to stimulate housing, stimulate the economy, to make everybody feel good, and do either a re-election, or if the person doesn't get reelected, then what will happen is, the new party on platform will come out and say, we need to get some kind of economic stimulus. Let's drop the rates. Let's get some housing products out there. I firmly believe it's going to happen. Now, rentals.
Yeah, here we go. Now with the rental, Tim. Now here's my thing with the rental.
Yeah.
Let's say that we only want to keep it maybe 1 to 2 years more. We're not talking about some 30-year retirement rental.
Okay. Now, you preface it. If you're saying you're going to only keep it for another year or two, I agree. Selling it makes sense. But if you're looking at the long term, keeping it makes sense, because as rates go up, rentals go up. Okay, now, there were houses in Lusby that were renting for $1,000 just 3 years ago, and today they're renting for $2,000. Yeah. That same house. Hold on to your rental if it's long term, dude. If it's short term, sure, selling it makes sense. You're gonna maximize equity. I don't disagree with you with that at all. I really don't. It just, every circumstance has a unique situation. You got to figure out where you want to go.
Yeah, and our job is to kind of give you sort of like the what would I do advice. So I would personally sell everything, because I feel like that. Let's say, for instance, your house is up, 10, 15% over what it's going to be. $300,000 house. We're talking about 50 grand.
Right.
Right. So the money you're going to make in rent, you make an extra $500 a month. If you're lucky, you're making $6 grand a year. In the next 3 years, you're talking about $24,000, assuming you have no repairs to make when this is all said and done, assuming that, this, that, and the other. I would say take the money now.
And you missed out the two biggest pieces. Your tenant,
the tax write-offs and stuff,
and the tenant's paying the principal. So you've got additional principal being added on. That's a couple $1,000s every year, number one, right? And then number two, the tax benefits. So Brian, I mean, you and I disagree on that a little bit, because I don't look at just the net profit on a rental. I look at my net profit, then I look at the principal payments being made by my tenant, and then I look at my tax benefits. So to me, it's a threefold, not a one-fold. And so I look at the additional benefits that way.
You got to look at your headache factor, though. So, like, let's say you do all this, and let's say you come out ahead. Me and you were like, I sell, I get 50, and you're like, oh, I held. You hold, and you get like 60 when it's all over.
Sure.
But you had a headache for 3 years, and you're rolling the dice, and you're just, you don't know. The people could have jacked your house up. The prices could have gone down more than we thought. Rates could go up. The whole thing. So I'm telling everybody, if you have a rental and investment property that you don't plan on keeping for 5 years, I would go ahead and cash out now.
Now you went to 5 years. You said 1 or 2 years ago, a second ago. Now you're at 5 years. You're lengthening out.
Even at 5. Because, again, the headache factor of dealing with a rental for 5 years. Yeah. Now, there's people out there that are professional landlords. They got 20 houses. They got property management companies, or they're doing it themselves, and this is their deal. But we also have a ton of people who, for whatever reason, decided, maybe they got married, and instead of selling their house, they decided to rent it. You and I are working with the guy right now is thinking about renting his house just because he wants to make a couple $100 a month. And I'm looking at that situation and thinking the amount of headache that gets involved. I mean, that most people aren't really accustomed to. And then you end up going a month or two without somebody moving in. You just lost all your profit for that year.
Okay, but so I'm going to pose a different way to you.
Yeah.
And my rate's 2.75, and the rate next year is 8.75.
Keep it forever.
I'm going to do an assumption.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell my house. It's got a 2.75 rate. 5 years into the term, I'm going to allow you to assume your mortgage, and you're going to pay me a $50,000 premium to have that rate.
Yeah. So you can only assume certain loans, though. You can't assume all of them. Right?
FHA and VA loans. Yeah, it's qualified assumptions, but still an option, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I
So
think
that's going to be a thing. We'll do a video on that later. Like, because I think as rates get to 7, I think that it's going to be in all my listings. Assumable loan is an option, and I think the mortgage companies are going to have to get a little creative on how to cover the gap.
Now, speaking of creative, what would you do if you had a 360-degree water view? How would you?
Tim, I forgot to bring this up, man.
Oh yeah, I know you did. That's why I brought it up.
And now nobody's watching it because we're 20 minutes into this video. We've
my
lost our audience. Nobody's going to watch the video for 20 minutes. But if you are still watching the video, dude, it's $112,000 right now. And I'm wondering if it's a hoax or something, but you had to put a $5,000 deposit to get this thing.
Sure. I think there's some people with some cryptocurrency and they said, you know what? I'm going to buy myself a lighthouse. Makes sense to me. It's a win-win. What's that?
So
now?
everybody got on me and they started clowning me that this was like, some kind of a stupid idea. And I'm pulling up on my computer really quick because I want to see. It ends today, by the way.
What time?
I'm going to pull it up.
I need to get my bid in at the very last minute.
Cooper's Island Lighthouse, 5 bids closing at tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Central Time.
Damn, $112,000.
15 hours and 55 minutes left. Let me see.
Brian, can we still get in? That's my question.
Let me see if I can do this. I can't do it. I've never used this before to share my screen. I was going to try to share my screen, but it's currently 5 bids, $112,000 for the lighthouse. Everybody was like,
first 4 bids were ours. Remember, we pumped it up to get to this number, right?
The thing is, like, everybody was clowning me about this. They thought it was a joke, and I kind of was joking, but I kind of wasn't, because all I needed was somebody else to be serious with me. And I think this went for sale before one other time, and it didn't sell.
It's going to sell.
And I think we missed it because there's no chance I'm paying $100,000 for this thing. But I had people coming over my house, and they were, like, listen, we're not buying a lighthouse. It was like people were getting furious with me.
People are telling you that shit?
Yeah, like they were angry that I was like trying to talk their spouse into buying a lighthouse. And they're like, listen, we're not buying a lighthouse.
You had hate mail going on.
I was kind of kidding, but I kind of wasn't, because you know what? Like, I could come up with a couple grand and have a fishing spot in the middle of the bay that, I can go to, and now it's gone.
Yeah, the only thing got me was the bombing that was occurring around,
Yeah, but it's never been bombed, and yes, so my theory on life, Tim, is to ask for forgiveness, not permission. And I guarantee if we went to that lighthouse and went fishing, they don't even have Navy ships around here. They're not going to send a Navy ship to the side of this thing and be like, come on out now, we need to speak to you, and then somehow kick you out of this lighthouse with the Navy ship. Like,
you say, here's my deed, I own the bloody thing.
Yes, exactly.
Even the U.S. Coast Guard recognized you as an owner because you had to give them permission to access the light.
Yeah, they got to call me to come change the light bulb.
So what's that tell you? Exactly.
Yeah, that means you're the boss.
The government has recognized that you are the owner of
the
lighthouse.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I figure that's a missed opportunity, Tim, and I feel like some people don't have vision.
What are you saying?
But you and I had the vision.
We did have the vision. But
we lost.
Boy, shit. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So if anybody is buying the lighthouse, watching this video, and you want to partner, well, let's do a timeshare. I'd like to buy a Red Week, right? I'd like to buy a Red Week that's a summer week. I would like to reserve my position on the lighthouse, and I will help take care of it. I'll volunteer for a week of updating.
Timeshare with Brian. Love it.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. We'll give you an update on what's going on next time. All right.
All right. So Tim, how bad is it? Final message to everybody watching. How bad is it? How bad is it?
Bad, dude. Like, you know what? We have jobs. We have roofs over our heads. We have opportunities.
I sold a house in Waldorf in 24 hours. How about that?
How bad is it, Brian? That's what I want to know. How bad is it?
Then I did keep people calling me after it sold, like, hey, I wanted to buy the house. I was like, okay, so the answer is
crash? Where's this downward trend in price you're telling me it's going to happen? Oh, come on.
Yeah, and I had it appraised. I know what it was worth, and it went well for these people. So we have not hit this. We're not dead. We're not going to die, but you should sell your house for real. Seriously.
All right, man.
All right, Tim. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.